encouragement and hope. Hi, I'm Julie McAllen. I'm from Galesville, Wisconsin. And I get to be with these ladies. It's been wonderful. And what Keith said and I forgot your name, but what you said really resonated with me, because when I was really searching for God, before I was a witness, I was an adult convert, I went to a woman's Bible study at a Lutheran church, and I wasn't Christian. I just thought, well, they're Christians, they're going to teach me something. And for some reason, I started to defend Jehovah's Witnesses, who I knew nothing about, really. They started just talking about, oh, I had one of those Jehovah's at my door, and I told my son to tell him I was in the shower. And I was like, were you in the shower? No, I just wanted him to go away. You taught your son to lie? And, and I said, well, if you're Christian and you think they're in a cult or they're lost or something, aren't you supposed to invite them in and, share Jesus with them or something? And I started to defend what I knew of Jehovah's Witnesses. I just thought they were just another denomination. They were just thought of a little weird because they dressed up at the door. And when I drove home from that church, I was just burning, like, what is this with Christianity? I had troubles with things I saw in churches, and I had this, I was being drawn to God, but yet mistrusting. And I thought, I'm going to study with those Jehovah's Witnesses, because I think they might have the truth or something. And I got home, and there was an awake in my door. And I was very upset. And I thought, I was at that stupid Lutheran Bible study, and those real Christians were at my door, and I missed them. And I opened up the Awake, and it had an article in there, how to identify the true religion. And based on that, I was already like, yeah, I'm going to check out these witnesses. So I flew into the witnesses. I actually went to the Kingdom Hall asking for a Bible study. So, yeah. So, and within 5 months, I said, I want to be baptized. But it was within 3 years, I realized I was caught in something, and I didn't quite understand what. And so, the first 3 years, I was 100% JW. You couldn't convince me otherwise. After the third year, I was just working, and I knew it. I just felt like I'm just doing these works, and I lost the spirit, And so it was a process during that 4 years of coming out, and then in the seventh year, I just stayed home. I was trying to read my Bible, but the lock was there, Everything was JW. I couldn't break it, and in the 8th year, they called to disfellowship me, and I didn't understand why. But in my disfellowshipping, I went to the hearings, and I needed to see that. I realized they think they're God. They think that they decide my life, because they were saying, Julie, you need to make up your mind about this. Are you coming back to the meetings? Because these are issues of life and death. And I thought, they decide my future. And it came down to one question, which I knew was either going to disfellowship me, I just knew I was standing before God at that point, that if I answered one way, I would be in the grace of these people, Jehovah's Witnesses, who would become my friends and family, or I was, standing before God, and I had to be honest. And the question was, Julie, do you believe that someone can have a relationship with God outside of this organization? And I just gripped the side of my chair, and I said, yes, I do. And they said, on the basis of that, you're an apostate. So I was disfellowshipped with all my faith in Jehovah, all my faith in Jesus Christ, all my faith in the Bible of what I understood as a witness, but I was considered an apostate because I didn't recognize that organization as God's sole channel. And I needed to see that, And of course, then I went home, I was numb and everything, and there was a few years of just bewilderment. And I really got delivered in 2007, where God just broke the locks off. And what was funny was when that happened, I had this burning desire, after he kind of revealed himself as the Trinity, I was like, I remember sitting in the Kingdom Hall, these same verses, thinking, well, somebody might take that the wrong way. It sounds like Jesus is saying he's Jehovah, I thought, I remember that. It was in the Greatest Man book. And I wouldn't allow myself to think it. It was in John chapter 10, and we were going through the Greatest Man book, and I was at the Kingdom Hall thinking, someone might use this against me at the door, and I have to know how to combat that, But after he revealed himself, I thought, I got to look up the Greatest Man book. And I looked and I read the chapter, and it made no sense. It made no sense. And I knew God had just, whoa. You know, he had freed me from it. And after that, I could read a Watchtower and, you know, not feel like I was going to get sucked back in or something. So praise God. All right.
Wow.